All right, the date is the 15th of the 8th, 2025, and this is today's recap. Fortunately, we took two losses, and I will break them down as into why. Um, so, the first one being JPY. So, coming into market opening, we had this huge push up, taking out these highs, and we get that crash down again. And what I'm thinking is, okay, if we wanted to continue higher, what about this fair value gap here? What did price do? Break straight to it. Okay. So if we're not respecting the bullish PDRAs, are we respecting the bearish ones? Right? So I'm looking at this inversion fair value gap here because when price opened, this is where we were being at this inversion fair value gap here. Um, I can see that you know we close below it and we start making some pushes up, and I'm thinking, okay, we might even take out this liquidity and fill in this tiny 1 hour gap here to continue down lower down the trend to take out these lows. But that didn't happen. Well, 5 minute market structure that didn't really show me that, but because if we wanted to continue higher, we could have. We could have easily just swept out these highs, filled in this gap before continuing lower. So I was thinking, okay, well we broke structure here. So ideally in the 5 minute, we should be respecting 5 minute PD arrays, which we, oops, which we didn't. We broke straight through it, and just imagine the price was here. So I'm treating this as a 5 minute inversion fair value gap, thinking that we can this small little uptrend is over, continuing to break down, continuing down lower and lower and lower. So I went into the 1 minute. This is kind of just a refinement on the 5 minute. Rather than waiting for the 5 minute to close, we could already be in that move where that 1 minute can show, okay, we inverse the gap maybe, and then continue. But I see that once we had that push down from this 5 minute gap here, we came back up again. Uh, we closed above here on the 1 minute, but that is at a 1 minute, not the 5 minute. The 5 minute, we're still hovering around here, and we didn't close above. Therefore, this inversion gap is still validated, and I drew out this little inversion, and I entered around somewhere here, somewhere down here, somewhere, and stops were above, kind of in the middle between um, this high and this high, as I couldn't really put stops all the way up here or here, otherwise my risk to reward would be too low. Uh, as I was targeting the 1 hour fair value gap, unmitigated fair value gap here, um, as we could easily tap into this, sweeping out these highs, then tapping into those before continuing down lower. So I just targeted this. This would have been a nice trade, nice and easy trade. But as soon as market opened, we kind of just chopped up, sweeping, sweeping, sweeping before we had that nice drop down at about 7:30. So um, yeah, that is my first loss of today. So yeah, just a 1 hour inversion fair value gap, back up into it. This now turns as some sort of resistance before continuing down, following the trend, taking out, maybe filling in this gap here, which we did, but we closed straight below it, filling out this gap here before taking out liquidity down here, and that was that trade. JPP JPY. Yeah, that was my third process. On GPP USD. Okay, so coming into market opening, we had this nice push up and we had this nice push down. So it was a game of, okay, which fair value gap is going to hold, right? So as you can see here, we displaced, um, we actually displaced on this fair value gap leg and even in I could have taken this trade here where price swept out this hourly low before continuing up again. Um, but again, this was a 1 hour unmitigated fair value gap, to displace price downwards. So, and the risk to reward wouldn't have been that good, especially like where am I going to enter as well? Um, because it's always a risk buying into a POI. You want to trade out of a POI. You don't want to really, unless like it's unmitigated, and price is heading that direction, kind of like a continuation sort of sort of play there. But this trade, I see that we disrespect this PDRA, but we respect this one. So I'm thinking, okay, this could just be a reaction from the downwards move, and it's not going to continue. Prices just can't, continue going straight down, straight down, straight down. Ignoring these gaps because these gaps do mean something. Like this gap is pretty huge. Prices can't just, you know, what's it called? Prices can't break through it straight away, especially on a 1 hour time frame as well, and especially how big this gap is. So I was thinking that this could be a reaction to a continuation sort of play here. So on the 5 minute, I was waiting over a sweep of these hourly highs, which we did get, and I was just looking for any sort of bearish pressure, kind of, are we disrespecting bullish PDRAs or not? So I went into this recent fair value gap here. This was a bullish PDRA which got disrespected, and price came up and filled it again, and exited out. And in Fryman on the 1 minute, I saw this gap here as there was a gap here, but there's also a gap down here as well. So I chose to play off this gap because this this gap here could easily be disregarded to fill in this gap. So I was waiting for the second gap to be filled on the 1 minute, to which we broke straight through it, and I got another retest here, and my TP, my take profit, was at the these hourly lows, which these hourly lows that just swept this hourly low previously. And also because liquidity paired with a fair value gap is always a powerful play. Um, you could easily take out these lows and then hit this fair value gap before continuing up high again. But that was my third process. Especially breaking through this fair value gap meant that bearish pressure was still there, and if we drop the Fib, you know, that would have tapped into 1 hour equilibrium as well. So that was that. Um, I was definitely in this trade for too long. Like I saw that we stopped respecting bullish PD arrays, but I was kind of relying on this inversion fair value gap here, as this was still unmitigated at the time. Like if we were to play price here, this was still unmitigated, and we started push up, and it was holding. We had a small 5 minute gap as well, which was holding. Price shut down again, and I was thinking, okay, we broke structure. We're gonna have a mini pullback before continuing to take out these lows again. But this must be a really strong draw on liquidity because buyers were really stepping in around this area, which with this many um, down close candles down, I was thinking for sure, okay, we should be okay to continue down lower, just to at least take out these lows before, if we want to go higher, we need a bit of fuel, because buyers and sellers are really fighting here. So that was my thought process. I mitigated 1 hour fair value gap after reaction from a bullish PDRA, or a bullish 1 hour fair value gap. I was just looking for some bearish pressure and just seeing if we disrupt the bullish order flow, which we did end up happening, but unfortunately we couldn't just follow through here. So yeah, that's a trade for today, Friday. Um, still learning. Or, always willing to learn, no matter how long it takes. Learning's all part of the process. Yeah, man, the markets are not nice. Um, Especially when market open, we kind of just chopped around. There was no kind of follow through there. So that was that. Um, but ideally, I should have got out once we weren't able to close below this fair value gap, because this was a nice bullish POI to enter from. Um, so this trade, I think I took this trade around 9 maybe, or like 8:30 maybe, somewhere around there. And yeah, as you can see, we just couldn't get that follow through. We couldn't break past this fair value gap here, even though the pressure was there. Pressure was definitely there, but we just didn't have enough just to take out these lows again. As I thought that unmitigated POI should be enough fuel to at least push down into these lows before if the market wants to continue up higher. I would think that we want to take out these lows first, but all part of the game, all part of the process. Still learning. Um, Not stopping until we make it, make it till we make it out. Um, but that is today's recap. Hope you boys won today. If you guys took any trades, let me know below. What pair, what time, what trading session? Let me know. I'm all for it. All right. Peace, 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 guys.